Hey guys, how's it going today? Today I just wanted to make a different type of video. I wanted to make one on just a short history of the Umbers, seeing as House Umber is probably going to be kind of in the forefront of the story coming next episode, with the theory that the gift they're bringing Ramsay Bolton is most likely Rickon Stark. So I just kind of wanted to give like a brief history of who House Umber actually is and why they might actually be aligning with the Boltons at this current time. So who is House Umber? They currently occupy the last Hearth, which is pretty much situated up near the northern part of the north, right below the wall, essentially. They once ruled as kings back in the days of the First Men. This was like thousands of years ago, long before the Targaryens were around, before the Andal invasion. It was the time of, a shit ton of kings all over Westeros that were constantly fighting other kings, trying to get more land and pretty much just further their houses. Pretty much like today, actually. However, after years of war and conflicts, House Umber eventually fell and ended up becoming a vassal to House Stark, who at the time were pretty much becoming the Kings of Winter, is what they were called. This is when they were essentially becoming, the head house of the North. And then also, like, an interesting side note about House Umber, it's rumored that the Lord Commander, way back in the day, the Lord Commander of the Night's Watch, who betrayed the Night's Watch and ended up going and becoming the Night's King for the White Walkers, was from House Umber, is what they believe. This isn't the current Night's King that we see on the television show that we saw in Hardhome. The Night's King is pretty much a title. It's not an actual person. It's just kind of like a title that gets handed down. Well, that's what we're assuming anyway. I think that's what George R. R. Martin pretty much talked about. So in the current timeline, what do we actually know about the Umbers? Well, we don't really know much in the show, but assuming because we don't know so much in the show, I would think that the history of the House Umbers in the TV show would be pretty much similar to the ones in the books. If we haven't been told otherwise, I think it's pretty safe to assume that. In the books, the Umbers were a pretty loyal house to the Starks. When Ned Stark was arrested in King's Landing by Joffrey, and Robb called the Banners to free him, the Umbers were, one of the first houses to answer the call. And despite the small confrontation that Robb Stark had with the House Lord, Greatjon Umber, where Robb's direwolf, Grey Wind, bit the fingers off of Greatjon during a little argument, Greatjon ends up going on to become one of his greatest supporters, actually. And then Lord Umber's eldest son, Small John, who I don't think we met in the show or even heard of, he's part of Robb Stark's personal guard, fighting alongside him as they push south against the Lannisters. So we flash forward to the Red Wedding. Robb Stark's killed along with Small John Umber during the betrayal. However, it takes 8 men to subdue Greatjon Umber. He kills 1, wounds 2, and then bites the ear off of a minor character during the whole confrontation. And so he's just captured. He's not killed, he's captured and held at the Twins as a prisoner. And so this leads us to the now, both in the books and in the show. In the show, it's not quite clear to me if we learned of Greatjon's fate. I don't remember ever hearing if he was actually captured or killed at the Twins, so it's not exactly sure, but if we hadn't heard anything, it could be that he was actually just captured. So this might actually be why the Umbers are joining the Boltons. They might be assuming that House Bolton could help free their lord, or at least make his captivity less hard on him. And so that's why it's hard to tell why they're actually joining the Boltons in the show, since we don't know a lot of what happened to Greatjon, and we haven't met Small John, so we don't actually know who is the leader of the house right now, who's the lord. So all these unknowns are kind of making it a little difficult to try and pinpoint why they might take up the Boltons' cause. In the books, House Umber essentially gets split in half almost. There's a half that supports the Boltons, led by Hother Horsebane, he takes half of the Boltons, or half of the Umbers men, and goes down to support the Boltons at Winterfell. And then the other half is led by Moore's Crow's Food, who takes the other half of the Umbers men and decides to ally himself with Stannis as he pushes south towards Winterfell. And so I guess we have to assume that maybe the same thing is going on in the show, that maybe House Umber is split in two. It might be Small John Umber that we saw in the preview for episode 3. It could also be Hoth or Horsebane. So it'd be interesting to see if it is Small John Umber, if it is actually the same storyline in terms of the house splitting in two, one supporting the Boltons and one, obviously Stannis is dead now, so the other half couldn't support Stannis, but maybe they learn of Jon Snow's resurrection or something, so the other half knows that there's a possible Stark out there and they decide to stay loyal to them. That could be a possibility as well. So that's just kind of a brief refresher on House Umber, just to get some information for this Sunday when we see them going to Winterfell and bringing the gift, whoever that is, or whatever it is. Pretty much everybody's come to the conclusion that is probably Rickon. So it's going to be very interesting to see what their actual motives are. Is it actually a trap? Is it actually that the house split in two and, one half is supporting the Boltons, bringing Rickon to them? Is one half going to support Jon? Thank you for watching. Please check out my channel for other Games of Thrones videos, and I'll see you later.